Would you like to know how to become rich? Well, stick around this video and we're going to talk about how to become rich and some wealth building ideas and things you can do in your life to help you get there. Good morning. My name is Adam Kahn and I'm the Rational Investor. Today we're going to talk about how to become rich. But before I get into that, do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Before you forget, hit that like button. I really appreciate all the help. Um, as a side, I want to thank you guys. I love seeing the channel grow. It's been so cool, and I really do appreciate all of it. I'm also going to put a couple links in the description about opening an account with SoFi. I use them myself as well. There'll be a way to open up a stock account. There'll also be a way to open a checking and saving. They have all sorts of stuff about doing direct deposit and everything else. If you do that, I know if you deposit $10 or more, they'll give you a free $25, and who doesn't like a little bit of free money? I also opened an account myself with my son, and he's going to be 13 years old in a few weeks, and he gets really excited to see that. And I think it's super kind to you guys who have been doing it, so thank you again. And anyway, we're going to get into how to become rich and things we can do to build wealth. So the first thing is, let's define being rich, because everybody's got a different definition. Does that mean having $100,000, $500,000, $1 million more? What does it take for you guys? And my definition, which is a lot different than a lot of other people's, is living below your means. That's all it takes to be rich. And I have some simple steps in order to do that. But the basics of that is rich is more of a state of mind than a reality, right? There's plenty of people who have tons of money but don't feel rich, and vice versa, which is kind of my point about living below your means and living on less than what you make. If you can save enough money to weather a couple rainy days, I think that's being rich. That puts you in that state of mind. If you know that if you lose your job or you lose some income for a little while, that you're still okay and you're able to pay your bills for a few months, that gives a really good, rich feeling in your head, and creates that feeling of being wealthy. So now the next question is, how do we get there? One way to get there is something that I saw that Singapore does that I think is super smart. So they have a forced savings account. It's not even really an account, but whatever your job is and whatever you do for work, they automatically take 20% of what you make and put that into a separate account. 20%. So it's really significant. That means if you're making $10 an hour, you're only making $8 an hour. Well, again, I think that's super smart, and that puts you on the way of being rich. I think what that does is it puts your money in a savings account to save for those rainy days. And if you can live off of the 80% and just assume that is what you have, instead of I put the 20% away, just live on the 80%. It really doesn't matter where you put that money as long as you put it to work. And that'll also allow you to feel comfortable in taking risks in things like the stock market or real estate or collectibles. If you know that every paycheck, 20% is going straight into an account for savings, and you just live off of the 80%, you'll continue to save, you'll continue to build wealth, and you'll grow that account. Now, what do I do with that money? Now, before I even get into that, remember, I'm not a financial planner. This isn't advice. This is just sharing the stuff that I would do. You guys really need to do your own research on that. And then what I would do kind of depends on my age and my stage in life and where I am. When I was young, I wanted to be in growth stocks and take some risks and have some things invested in things that really had a chance of growing exponentially. As I've gotten as I've gotten older, I've started transitioning into more dividend stocks, even outside of real estate, which is my true love. I mean, deep down, I've always loved real estate. I like being invested in it. I like being involved in it. I like having rentals and things like that. But I'm getting into my 50s, and I don't want the responsibility as I've gotten older, so I'm transitioning more into dividend stocks and things that are more passive. That doesn't mean that's best for you, which is why I say it has to do with your age and what your goals are and everything else. But by putting away the 20% every paycheck, you're going to build a certain amount of money that you're constantly putting towards building wealth. If you like collectibles, or if there are things you personally know about that you know are good investments, by all means, I would invest in those things. Me personally, I love the stock market. It's the easiest to me. I don't mind the ups and downs and the swings of it. I think there's so many different companies to choose for so many different economies, that there's always something that's of good value. Like, I know I've mentioned in other videos, I kind of like the retail companies right now. I really like Target and Best Buy. Why? Because they're out of favor. I try to find things that are out of favor. I also like Pfizer because they've been out of favor as well. When I see good big companies that have been around a long time and I'm comfortable that they're going to continue to do okay, and they're not doing well, I mean, Disney is a good example as well. My guess is they all work through those adversities and eventually they're popular again. They're overvalued on the flip side. I tend to always love the ones that are doing great right now. The Metas, the Amazons, Googles, Microsofts. Like, they seem to be in a space that they're able to outperform pretty consistently. So I like to make sure I have some of that stuff. May not fit you guys. You guys need to decide what fits your account. And again, it really just depends on your age and the position you're in and what you're looking for the money to do. My goal, and I'll share that in future videos, is to have enough coming in from dividend stocks that I'm not worried about much anything else. And, I have one account in particular that's primarily dividends only. It makes around $3,000 a month, which is great to have that extra coming in. And then I have another account that I don't even really look at because the ups and downs of the non-dividend stocks are sometimes a little bit more extreme, and I don't want to see the account go up a whole ton. The interesting thing is I'm a little bit paranoid with the ability for places to get hacked and everything else. I have that in an account that I don't even have access to. Like, you can't trade it. You don't have online ability. It only goes directly through a person who manages it. But that's because if something got hacked, I want to make sure that that account is nothing that could ever be touched. I actually used to have the stock certificates sent to me, and I would put them in a secure location, whether that was a safe deposit box or somewhere off premises, just to make sure I had the certificates. I think all of that's really important in terms of what you do for matching your personality and what you want in an investment. But for me, the real way to be rich is to live below my needs. It's really simple. As long as I don't need everything that's coming in, there's a real comfort. Like, we're in a position that if our air conditioner broke, we're okay. There's a fund to fund that cost. Or if I lost my job, that will be just fine for some time. That's what gives me the comfort where I feel rich. It's not about how much money I have, it's more of a state of mind. So, building wealth is taking those extra funds and putting it towards things so you can grow your wealth. And if you have comments or questions, just put it in the comment box. I'll be happy to discuss ideas. I enjoy this stuff. So, one last time before we go and call it a day, don't forget, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, give a thumbs up and a like, and by all means, make a comment. I'll do my best to respond. I think I'm pretty good at that and have some nice conversations with some people. So, have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.